Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another golf ball review for you today, and we are doing the brand new 2023 Mizuno Tour golf ball. Let's dive right in. All right, before I get going, I appreciate Craftsman Golf for sponsoring this video. Guys, if you need new equipment for the golf season upcoming, they have great options as far as head covers, putter covers, accessories, as well as even this polo. That's where I got this from. They were nice enough to send it to me. So if you need new stuff, be sure to check them out. I have a link in the description below. So listen, if you guys watch my channels, you know that I am a huge Mizuno fan. I bought all new Mizuno clubs last year. I use a Mizuno driver. I've tested immediately, as soon as I could get my hands on them, I tested the RB 566 as well as the RB or 566V, hate that name. And then, of course, the Tour and the Tour X. And then now for the 23 season, we have some updated models, specifically with the Tour and the Tour Model X. Now, Mizuno has some very steep competition. There's lots of consumer golf balls. There's direct-to-consumer. There's all the, everyone's on the top of their game. Everybody feels that Pro V1's kind of weakening, and so everyone's attacking right now. And there's a lot of golf balls that are doing a great job, but the market's become kind of oversaturated. And so Mizuno does have a lot of competition. So the first thing I noticed is that they took a pretty big swing. They designed a golf ball that only has 272 dimples. And if you're not really, a golf ball aficionado, you might not realize what the dimples have an effect in. Really, it's ball flight. But the thing is 272 is really, really low. I mean, most of the time, I just mentioned the RB 566. The reason it's called 566 is because there's 566 dimples. A lot of golf balls have 350, 380, just in that upper mid 300s range. So 272 is really low. And if you look at this golf ball, you'll notice that it just has a bunch of really big dimples. Obviously they're trying something, they're swinging for the fences, so I give them respect for that, but we'll have to see if that actually affects the numbers and how it goes. These golf balls come at a price point of $42.99 a dozen, so it's a good average price point as far as for a tour ball, but for a budget tour ball it isn't, because you still have Vice at $38, you've got like the Tour Stripe at $42.99, which is the same, so it would have to perform better than those. But as far as being compared to a Pro V1 or a Callaway Chrome Soft, the price is actually pretty good. So the standards and expectations aren't as high as they could be. So I appreciate the fact that Mizuno put it in a really good price point, and they kind of swung for the fences with the design. So let's go ahead and get into the design of the golf ball. Let's see how they did. As you can see, they have really big dimples there. They just got that classic Mizuno on the front here. This is just the Tour. So it's got the black number in there. It's just really simplified. And then if you turn over to the side, I'm really disappointed that they didn't do more with the alignment tool. You might not care about the alignment tool, and that's fine, but I'm actually kind of a snob on the channel for them. And I don't like how they do the different fonts. You've got RB there. I'll show it again. You've got RB really thick, and then you've got Tour in a smaller font, not quite as bold. It's all italicized. It just makes it really hard to line your ball up. I've never had really good success lining these type of golf balls up. So I kind of wish they'd have done more there, and that's something so simple to do. Just put a thick black line there. That's all you got to do. So disappointed there. It definitely does look a little interesting with the big dimples, but we'll see how that affects the ball flight in a second. Let's go ahead and get out to the chipping and putting green. Let's see how we did out there. All right, the Mizuno Tour RB on the green. I got to be honest with you, I am confused. I am very confused. This is one of the weirdest testings I've done on a green so far. First of all, I expected the golf ball to feel pretty soft. I expected it to feel pretty squishy coming off the wedges around the green, and it does. There's a slight click there. It actually feels really good. The ball checks up really well. Really with the wedge, I think it's fine. There's nothing that blows me away, but it does everything it's supposed to do. It has really, really good spin. It feels really good. There's some feedback there. It checks both those boxes. It really does a great job of that. Of course, so does the X model. You'll get to that one on the next video, but I'll save that one for the next. But here's where things get really, really weird. Off the putter, if you're using a mallet putter, I cannot stand the feel. The feel is really weird. It almost reminds me of when you're driving an older car. Like say you have an older pickup, and sometimes you hit the gas and it doesn't get the fuel injected in there, and so it kind of sputters for a second and then hicks off, and it takes you like that. That's what it reminds me when you putt this golf ball. You hit it, and at first it comes off real hard, but then the golf ball kind of chugs back for a second, and it just doesn't roll very true. And I've tried multiple times putting around the green, multiple times trying to get it to do something different, and there is a way I can get it to not do that, and that's if I hit it off the toe. That's really weird. I've never experienced that. I've tested over 70 golf balls on this channel, and I've never had something like that, but I actually enjoy the way it feels, rolls, and performs if I mishit it. But if I hit it pure, it's awful. It's really, really bad. It chugs, it doesn't roll true. I can't gauge the speed really well. But if I hit it off the toe, it has a nice pure roll. It's all smooth, the tempo's good. I don't know why. That's a really, really weird thing. I'm not a fan of it in that regard. The wedge tested fine, but the putter results, I would not want to putt with this golf ball. It would drive me nuts. Hopefully the X model will be different. Again, I'll save that one, but I'm really disappointed with the performance around the green here. All right, so really good spin there. I thought it really checked up well. Now, as far as the feel off of the regular clubs, well, Mizuno did, it's kind of it's a 50-50. It's a mixed bag. So as far as the actual feel of the golf ball, as far as how when you hit it, it actually doesn't feel too bad. It feels really soft. It has a nice little mild click, very, very mild, lets you know feedback. If you mishit it, you know. It kind of ticks all those boxes really well. But when it comes off the club, it feels dead. It feels really like, it feels like I'm hitting it on the moon. It feels so like there's no gravity. You're hitting it, and it almost feels like the ball's just floating off the club, just going by, and it's like, it doesn't seem like it should be that way. So we'll see how the numbers are, but it just doesn't feel real hot off the club. And when I tested the previous model, it felt like I had really good success with the ball speed. So we'll see. Getting into the 9-iron, 88.5 on your ball speed, which is really, really low. I expect so much better than that. 122.4, I lost 4 yards. 114.7, I lost 5 yards. And it launched about 23.3, which was average. So not off to a good start there. I would definitely expect the Tour model. It kind of makes me worried about the X model, because the X model is supposed to be for faster swingers. So I almost wonder if I'm not compressing this one very well, I wonder how that one's going to be. But we'll get to that one later. Let's go into the 7-iron. 6,322. That's actually low spin. It's pretty much average, but it's just slightly below average. 105.4, which is really low as far as my ball speed. 159.3 is actually almost pretty close to average, and 147.3 is the carry, which again was pretty close to average. And then 18.3 on your launch, which is mid. So everything's just kind of average, mid there. Maybe I was compressing it a little bit better, but again, none of these numbers are blowing me away. I really was hoping for some really good numbers, because I already have all the Mizuno clubs. I would have loved to have been able to play Mizuno ball consistently, but not off to a great start. Let's continue here. Maybe it'll fix itself with the 5 hybrid. As you can see, 43, 47 spin. That's actually a really good spin number. 118.1, hey, that's a really good fast number. I love that. 196.3, very fast. 182.2, love that. 15.1, so that's actually launching slightly above. That's launching high, so it launches high with the hybrid. It goes really fast, really far. Love that. Yeah, those numbers are actually pretty good. So now we're on the right track. A lot of the time with these Tour golf balls, that is the case. They end up compressing really, really well once you get to the hybrids in the woods, but the irons just end up being okay. That could be an iron problem, but considering how, you know, based on the golf balls I've tested, it's more likely just the Tour golf balls are that way. That's just how they are. All right, getting into the driver, 2,944 spin. That is pretty high for spin. 248.2 is actually above average. That's really good. And 135.5. That's actually above my average as well. And 227, that's above my average. And it launched high at 15.7. I love that launch angle for the driver. Okay, so I got to say that so far I have really loved the launch angles for all these clubs so far. So I have to give Mizuno a lot of credit. The dimple pattern really worked out. The launch angles are hitting the sweet spots. I love that. The problem is, it just didn't hit a lot of the areas I needed it to. It didn't have the ball speed I was looking for with some clubs. It didn't have, you know, the distance I really needed. It looked like I was losing. Some of the spin was off. So it looks like, you know, the dimple pattern is a success, but I'm not really sure how it affects the ball speed and everything. It might have been a mixed bag. Okay, so real quick before I get to my closing thoughts based on these numbers, let's talk about the durability. Durability is actually pretty good. Mizuno, I had really good luck the last time I played, and you can actually see these really deep scuffs. This is where I hit the bar on my net, and the black paint came off. I mean, and it feels really good. So it actually took a beating really well. You can still feel the ball all the way around. It still rolls true. So it's actually, I gotta say, I gotta really give it up to Mizuno. That's a 4.5 or a 5 out of 5. It's really close to being perfect. It handled abuse really, really well, and I don't don't doubt that you're going to be able to get at least a round and a half out of it for sure. Maybe even more, depending on where you hit it. If you don't hit it into a black bar, it probably would help quite a bit. Okay, so closing thoughts. I'm a big Mizuno guy. I love what they do. But this is definitely a mixed bag. The problem is the 9-iron was such an abysmal as far as performance. I wasn't a big fan of the ball speed. I would definitely have to readjust on the course. You know, I'd have to think, okay, I'm going to lose 5 yards here. I need to, you know, when you get into that 100, 110 range, that's when you're throwing darts. So that's really when you got to be like, okay, I'm going to lose 5, 10 yards. I need to account for that, because that's the difference between missing a green. 7-iron numbers were just okay. They weren't great. I was really hoping this golf ball would compress, which again kind of leads me to believe if I'm not compressing it with the 7 and I'm not compressing it with the 9, boy, how's the X model going to do? I don't know. You know, we'll have to see. The driver and hybrid numbers were good, but like I talk about on the channel all the time, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, I have tons and tons of golf balls that test really good with the hybrid and the driver because they compress really well, but the irons is really what I look for to put the cherry on top to see if a golf ball's worth it for an average swinger. This one just not the case. It was really a swing and miss, and for $42.99 a dozen, you're going to be able to find some other options out there. Even the Tour stripe, which is at that same price point, $42.99, you can get it with the stripe, without. I think it's a much better offering. So kind of a swing and miss from Mizuno, a little disappointing. It's not going to get the seal of approval, but we still have the X model to test. Maybe something good will happen. I don't know, but we'll see. So until next time, guys, let's always keep watching, to keep saving, and keep learning. Until next time.